I think it's important to note that this diversity in fleet program really came about through a PhD student feeling comfortable enough to point out something and then us responding. And that really underscores our organizational culture. And Jeff's going to talk about that now.
Right from the start, when we began Fleet, we sought to create this transformative workplace culture, which was marked by inclusivity, family-friendly policies, and a strong sense of community, with transparency and collaboration really at our core. We wanted to encourage a culture of sharing rather than competition, where everyone wanted to help each other and to achieve their goals. When we asked our members and alumni what they saw as the key strengths of Fleet, I'm very pleased to say that this culture showed through in a lot of these responses, where people commonly mentioned things such as collaborations, the people, communication, and a supportive environment as key strengths of Fleet. When we asked about the effectiveness of our training, a common response was that this sense of community not only made the training more enjoyable, but also made that training more effective. Similarly, many people also responded that this Fleet family provided a ready-made network of experts and expertise where people felt comfortable to ask for help or advice. This not only influenced their participation in various Fleet events and also their scientific research, but also enabled them to establish the strong relationships, collaborations, and networks that you've already heard have been so important to the successes of Fleet. Others said that Fleet higher-ups felt accessible and not on a pedestal, which was indicative of this non-hierarchical culture that have already been mentioned. Now, some of this may have happened organically and because of the wonderful people in Fleet, but this is typically not enough, and more structured approaches are also necessary and have been necessary. For example, this non-hierarchical culture is easy to say from our leadership perspective, but to be believed, it really needs to be demonstrated in our everyday policies and actions and the way we interact. For example, having our chief investigators give posters while our early career researchers give the talks at our annual workshops has helped with this. Similarly, making sure that everybody is contributing their hours in outreach, whether that's the director and chief investigators through to our postdocs and students, has also helped create this culture where everybody's on that same sort of level and everybody feels welcome and encouraged to go and talk to anybody. We've also, as we heard from Julie, tried to create this culture where everybody feels like they can help influence the decisions and the directions of Fleet. Part of this has been encouraging people to take part in our governance committees, but also being transparent in the way we run our meetings, where everybody's welcome to attend and our meetings are always published, through to having all of our data available on our Fleet website so everybody can see how we're tracking with regards to our key performance indicators and our goals. Now, having this flat organizational culture is important, but it's also not enough to create this sense of community that we really wanted to create. Other things that have helped build this community include sharing and celebrating our individual stories, not just our research successes, but who we are as people. And this has been achieved through things like having our cultural dinner at our annual workshops, where we invited people to come in their cultural dress and share stories from their culture and their background. And also having our Fleet Humans, where we encouraged and invited people to prepare a slide on who they are as people, their background, their interests, which we were then cycling through in the breaks during our annual workshops. This helps to normalize the idea that, yes, we're all scientists, but actually we're all people first. And on this same theme, we also, as one of our key targets, wanted to create a family-friendly environment, family-friendly workplace. As part of this, for our annual workshops and at every one of our Fleet conferences, we provided on-site childcare, which at the time, 7 years ago, was not very common. And I'm pleased to say more and more we're starting to see this at a lot of conferences. And by encouraging people to join in, bring their families, and then join in with our dinners and our meals and our poster sessions. And we found that the feedback on this was enormously positive, whether that was from the parents who brought their families, non-parents, our visitors, as well as our advisors. Everybody was very appreciative of this environment that this created, and it clearly played a key part in creating this inclusive and welcoming environment where everyone felt comfortable. Throughout our 7 years of Fleet, looking after the well-being of our members has also been a key focus. Now, when we were hit by COVID in the middle of Fleet, this became even more important. And we wanted to show some leadership in how we could actually look after our people as they're facing these quite significant challenges. For example, for our PhD students who face quite significant difficulties, being shut out of labs and not being able to progress their experiments and their research as rapidly as they'd like, we were able to provide write-up scholarships for at the end of their PhD, where they were able to stick around for an extra 3 months to finish those papers, which would then help them get their next job or the job after that and build their scientific CV. We also created a colloquium series involving researchers across Australia and North America. When we couldn't travel, it was then important to be able to continue and maintain these connections and interactions across the Pacific and then extended throughout Europe as well. And this colloquium series is continuing today. But even beyond COVID, we've also recognise the importance of being able to look after our people when they're facing various challenges, as they do throughout their research journeys. Through processes such as our mentoring and training, which you've already heard a little bit about, through to helping people identify inappropriate behaviour and deal with the problems in ways that they are comfortable with. And while there's always room for improvement, our annual surveys have consistently told us that we've been doing a pretty good job in creating this culture where everyone is starting to feel comfortable. This sense of community has not only grown from the scientific collaborations, but also helped to establish new scientific collaborations. And it's this collaborative environment that's regularly been highlighted by our alumni as one of the key strengths of Fleet. And this has benefited them not only while they're in Fleet, but in helped them build networks throughout their journey as they grow into their career and develop their own research profile and grow into leadership positions. These collaborations and networks that they've been able to establish through Fleet has stood them in good stead. Now, this doesn't happen by accident, but comes about as a result of having a community that really values everyone's contributions and where everyone is willing to help. In fact, in all the areas of impact that we've heard about today, this culture has benefited those and enabled those outcomes to be even more significant than what they might otherwise have been. So I think everybody who has been a part of Fleet can be really proud of this culture that we've helped to create. And while some of the things we've done might have posed some administrative and logistical challenges, I'm sure you'll all agree that it's been extremely well worth it. And I'll hand back now to Michael to sum up.